Someone pulls you aside after a meeting. They lean in. They got something to tell you about a colleague, a decision that's coming, a rumor making the rounds, and you feel it. That pull, that little quickening, the part of you that really wants to know. Office gossip is one of those workplace dynamics that almost everyone participates in to some degree, and almost no one feels good about. Today, I'm going to tell you what's actually going on when gossip is circulating, why it's so hard to stay out of it, what it costs you when you don't, and how to navigate it in a way that keeps you connected without compromising your integrity or your reputation. So stay tuned. Welcome back to Workplace Therapy with me, Dr. Abby Metcalf. And okay, what is office gossip exactly? What you talking about here, Abby? Well, I want us to make sure we're having the same definitions of things. Office gossip is really informal, any kind of informal communication about people or situations at work. And it typically involves information the subject hasn't shared themselves, speculation about things that aren't yet confirmed, or commentary on someone's behavior, their performance, or character outside of a formal or appropriate context. Now, it's worth distinguishing gossip from legitimate workplace conversation because the line matters and it's, I think, genuinely blurry. Talking to a trusted colleague about a difficult interaction you had with your manager, that's processing. Telling 3 other people that your manager is probably about to be fired is gossip, right? Discussing a team dynamic that's affecting your work with your own manager is appropriate escalation. Speculating in the break room about why someone got passed over for a promotion, that's a rumor mill. The distinction isn't always, what word do I want to use? Clean. Isn't always clean. But the useful test, I think, is this. Would the person being discussed be comfortable hearing what you're saying in the way you're saying it? And if not, you're probably, I'm going to guess, in some kind of, gossip territory. Okay, so why does, gossip spread so easily at work is, I think, the next obvious question. And I would say it spreads so easily, not just at work, anywhere, right? Because it's serving real social and psychological needs. And I need to say that understanding those needs is what makes it possible to meet them in ways that other ways that don't carry the same costs as gossiping. Now, there's a lot of research on gossip. How do you like that? So I looked at a lot of research for this episode, and there was, I really thought the research there's an evolutionary psychologist named Robin Dunbar. And they suggest that informal social talk, including sharing information about other people, is really one of the primary mechanisms humans use to build social bonds, to navigate group dynamics, that kind of thing. We're wired for it. It's not a character flaw. It's really how social mammals establish trust, gauge where their alliances are, who they're aligned with, and figure out where they stand in a group. And the workplace, really, when you think about it, is just a very specific kind of group with a very specific set of stakes too, right? So that's what's to keep in mind. And gossip often fills these sort of information vacuums. So when organizations are opaque in some way, when leadership doesn't communicate clearly about decisions or changes or the reasoning behind them, people are going to fill the gaps with speculation. And that speculation travels fast because uncertainty is so uncomfortable. And your nervous system is constantly seeking some kind of resolution to that discomfort. So if nobody tells you why 3 people were laid off last month, or if the reason they give feels like total BS, your brain will generate theories, and so will everyone else's, and those theories circulate. And that's why gossip tends to really spike during times of, anytime there's organizational like change or uncertainty or poor communication from leadership. Any of those things are going to get us in a bad place. And so there's that. Now, there's also, again, from the research, a status dimension when we talk about gossip. Sharing information that others don't have is really a form of social currency. Being the person who knows gives you sort of a momentary standing, a connection. It gives you inclusion. And that's why gossip is particularly common in workplaces where, again, people feel powerless, undervalued, excluded, because it's one of the few available ways to feel like you matter, to feel like you have some power, some agency, something to give. All right. So what does office gossip actually cost you? And to me, this is one of the most important parts of today's talk, because there are really three primary ways that office gossip costs more than you probably realize, and usually in ways that accumulate slowly. It's not like something that hits all at once. It's sort of a slow accumulation. So the most direct cost for sure is your reputation. It's reputational. In most workplaces, the person who gossips is known as the person who gossips, right? That label follows you. So even the people who enjoy hearing what you will share, they're gonna note, maybe quietly, that you can't be trusted with sensitive information. And trust me, they will adjust accordingly. And again, there's research on workplace trust, and it shows that what we call perceived trustworthiness, it's really one of the most durable and consequential, I'm going to use that word really specifically, reputational factors at work. And it's significantly harder to rebuild it once it's been eroded. Really much harder to rebuild than you probably expect. I will tell you that. So that's one. The second cost is psychological. Gossip keeps you in a low-grade state of social vigilance. I'm going to say that again. Gossip keeps you in a low-grade state of social vigilance. So if you're tracking who said what about whom, monitoring the alliances, managing what you share with which people, you are spending precious cognitive resources that could be going toward your actual work. And over time, that vigilance, I'm telling you right now, is mentally exhausting. It can actually be physically exhausting, but certainly psychologically exhausting. And it tends to make workplace relationships feel more threatening and less safe than they actually are, which is obviously a huge problem. And the third cost is relational. Gossip creates, how do I want to say this nicely? Gossip creates an illusion of closeness without substance. There's no substance of closeness. It just creates an illusion of it. So when a relationship is built primarily on, some sort of shared commentary about other people, there's no real foundation there. The moment you're no longer supplying information, or the moment you become the subject, rather than the audience, the dynamic shifts immediately, right away. So those are the three costs. So why is it so hard to stay out of office gossip is sort of the next natural question, right? And it's hard to stay out of office gossip because opting out has real social costs. I want to say that, and pretending otherwise isn't helpful. So I want to talk about that. So if you refuse to engage every time gossip comes your way, you can come across as, judgmental or prim, or not a team player even. So you risk being excluded from the kind of informal networks where real information moves, by the way. So this is part of your hesitation too. And in some workplace cultures, participating in gossip, it's like a social tax, right? Why am I having trouble speaking? It's a social tax is what I meant to say. It's like the price of admission to the in-group, So the challenge, it's not just deciding you don't want to gossip. It's figuring out how to stay connected and visible and trusted without being the person who trades in other people's information, right? And so I said that in today's title, like how to do this without becoming invisible, because that part of the title is deliberate. A lot of advice on this topic amounts to just don't do it, don't gossip, which leaves you standing in the hallway with nothing to say and nowhere to go, That's not a strategy. It's social isolation with I guess, a clear conscience, right? So how do you actually navigate office gossip? So I have a 4-part approach that's going to keep you in the room without compromising your integrity. So number 1 is redirecting rather than refusing. When a gossip conversation starts, you don't have to make a scene about not participating. I think people, sometimes say too much about this. You can simply redirect the energy. If someone says, hey, did you hear what happened with, Marcus? You can respond with, oh, I don't know much about that. How are things going with your project? Right? It's natural. It's warm. It's not preachy. You're not delivering a lecture on workplace ethics. Don't do that. Don't do that. You're just steering toward different territory. Most people take the redirect, I have to tell you, without even noticing. I can't tell you how many times I've done this or told people to do it and they've come back and reported to me. It works really well. Okay. That's number 1. Number 2 is be a vault, not a pipeline. That's what I say to folks. Be a vault, the vault. Keep it in the vault, not a pipeline. And because this one is really about what you do with the information you receive, not just what you share. When someone tells you something sensitive or speculative, the decision that matters is whether you pass it on. Okay? That's the decision that matters, whether you pass it on. Being known as someone who receives information quietly and doesn't circulate it, I have to tell you, is one of the most powerful reputational assets you can have at work, by far. It takes time to establish, I will say that, but once it's there, people will trust you with things they wouldn't tell anyone. And that kind of trust is incredibly valuable. It's got such social currency to it. You will be happy about it. Number 3 is to, build real connection. Your goal is to build real connection through channels that don't require gossip as the currency. I keep using that term because it's right. If the reason gossip is tempting is because it creates like closeness or a feeling of belonging, the answer is to create closeness and belonging through other means, right? Like genuine curiosity about people's work. That's a way to do it. Direct support when someone's having a hard time. Honest conversations about maybe a shared challenge of some kind. These take more effort than swapping information about a colleague who's not in the room, but they build something that actually holds. And that's what you're trying to do. And then the 4th thing is to, I don't want to say that. The 4th is like understanding the information need underneath the gossip and kind of meeting it more directly. If you notice you're being pulled into gossip most often during periods of uncertainty or at work or periods of change at work, that's a signal that you need more direct information than you're getting. That's how I want you to see it. The healthier version of that is going to your manager and saying, I'm hearing a lot of conflicting things about what's happening with the reorg, right? With the reorganization. Can you give me what you can? There you go. There you go. Can you give me what you can? Now, your manager might go, well, what do you mean? What are you hearing? It's like, I don't even want to get into that. I'm just telling you, I'm hearing a lot of conflicting things. Can you give me what you can? And they might try harder and go, well, I don't know what I can give you if I don't know what you've heard. And you can just say, what does what I have heard have anything to do with you, what's real and what you can tell me? Just tell me what you can. I want to start there. Okay. That's self-advocacy, not gossip. And it's addressing the actual need, okay? You're rarely going, okay, maybe I could say never. You're probably never going to get through an episode without me mentioning mindfulness. I know, we're back. I know. You're like, Abby, really? Yes, really. I think it's worth naming here because a consistent mindfulness practice is going to increase your awareness in real time of that pull towards gossip. And that's going to give you a genuine choice rather than an automatic reaction. Okay. So again, if you haven't gotten the mindfulness starter kit yet, it's free. It's on my website. It's below the video on YouTube, whatever, get it already. But have a mindfulness practice. You need to notice when you're getting pulled into these things. So I would say this, I think the bottom line on office gossip is that it's not, what I want you to take away basically is that's not a character flaw. It's really a social behavior that serves real needs for connection, for information, for belonging, but it comes with real costs to your reputation, your cognitive load, the quality of your workplace relationships, right? So the 4-part approach I gave you, what did I say? Okay, redirecting rather than refusing, being a vault, not a pipeline, building connection through channels that don't require gossip as the money, as the currency, and meeting the information need more directly, right? All of that lets you stay genuinely connected without becoming the person everyone quietly, or maybe not so quietly, notes that they can't trust. All right. So that combination is harder to achieve than either extreme, but it's also where your real professional credibility lives. I guess that's the point I'm trying to make. So that's why you want to care. All right. So putting today's lesson into action, I do this for every one of these episodes. If you're ready to put today's lesson into action, I have a free, I'm calling it the Gossip Free Playbook. It's like a 1-page guide to staying connected and informed at work without the reputation cost that comes with gossip, right? So that's what I always try to create something useful for the episode that, if this is something that you notice that you do a lot or that you hear a lot or that you're engaged in a lot, I think it's a good idea to get the free download. I always want to be completely transparent. If you download anything from me ever, the mindfulness starter kit that's free, this, whatever, you will get put on my love letter list. It's called Love Bites, actually, that comes out twice a month. And that's it. That's what'll happen to your email. I don't sell anything from there. I don't, go, here's what I'm doing this week. I don't do anything like that. I tell you a little story to help motivate you that week. That's it. Twice a month, you'll get that. That's all. I don't have any ulterior motive with it. I've had it for many, many years. There's tens of thousands of people on that list because they love it, because it's great. It's just meant to motivate you and inspire you twice a month. That's it. If you want to get it weekly because you love it so much, you can pay for that, but it's free otherwise. If you don't like it, if you get one and you go, I don't like this, then just unsubscribe. No harm, no foul. Okay. That is it for this week. I hope this was helpful. We're going to be putting together season 3 soon. No, I lied. Season 4. This is season 3. And I think I'm going to lean a little heavier into management and how managers can do things differently. But I would love for you to either comment below the video on YouTube or send me an email at abby@abbymetcalf.com, or you can go to the Let's Connect page on my website and find me, send an email. Anything where you have maybe a topic you'd like to see covered in the future, or if you like this idea of more management stuff or whatever, let me know. So I'd love to hear from you. All right. Have an amazing week, and I'll talk to you real soon.